Once again, I have been denied, and I cannot. It is 3 in the morning. I am sitting in my living room, just watching YouTube videos and relaxing, and it is almost time for camp. I am so excited for camp and what it's going to be about and how it's going to come about. So I think we should talk about my project, but we should also talk about what camp is. For the uninitiated, Camp NaNoWriMo, or Camp National Novel Writing Month, is a program that happens in April and July to keep the writing momentum going throughout the year. National Novel Writing Month is all of November. Camp takes place in April and July. And so basically what happens is that a bunch of people get together. They have these things called MLs, called manipulable liaisons, and they basically gather people together and organize so that we are with each other. We have writing partners to keep us motivated throughout camp and all that stuff. And so I live in Louisiana. I live outside the city of New Orleans. So my municipal liaison is in New Orleans, and I write with them pretty much all the time. They're such a great group of people. I'm so happy that I'm able to write with them, and I'm so glad that I've been able to meet them. I've really, really had such a fun time writing with them. And that just goes to show that you should get online and register with the National Novel Writing website, because I would not have met these people if I had not gotten on the website, logged in, and changed my location from Texas to Louisiana. For those of you who don't know, I'm originally from Texas. A little change of scenery. I'm in my little office space now. This is what I like to call my idea journal. This is where I hold all my ideas for books and series and stuff. As you can see, it has a lot of ideas written inside of it. So for the sequel to Weave Words Like Stars is going to be To Wield Words Like a Weapon. And I expect this second book to be just as long as the first, somewhere between 80,000 and 100,000 words. And so I'm a pantser. I do not like knowing the book going in. I like to discover it and let it become its own beast by itself. The way that I describe it is that in my head, I just set the stage and put the characters together, and then I'm just documenting what they do. It's not like a conscious process of me being like, and then they do this. No, it's more natural and flowing. It's like I see a movie in my head and I'm just frantically writing down everything that happens. But for this one, I decided to try something a little different. I decided to plot out the major beats of the story. So this is what I have written for the story. The first major beat is the inciting incident, and I keep it vague so that way if anything does come up, if I get an idea and I get inspired and I want to move away from that direction, that I still have the ability to do so. It's the inciting incident, the leave on a journey, the midpoint reversal, the beginning of the end, and the conclusion. So those are the 5 story beats that I have to hit. And I saw this really helpful TikTok where it basically spoke about how you have to hit them at certain points of the story. So basically the inciting incident, you want it to happen 5% of the way through the story. And 5% of the way through the story is between 4,000 and 5,000 words, considering my word count. The leave on the journey, wanted to have it a quarter of the way through, which is between 2,000 and 25,000. The midpoint reversal, you want it to happen 50% of the way through, which is 40,000 and 50,000. The beginning of the end, you want it to have it 75% of the way through. That's between 60,000 and 75,000. And the conclusion, you want it to happen 95% of the way through, which is 76,000 to 95,000% of the way in words. So this is a new technique that I'm trying. I just discovered this. So if it doesn't pan out, if I don't like it and I end up writing something completely different, that's fine. It's just something new that I'm trying, but it doesn't feel like I'm plotting. So that is definitely keeping the story alive for me. But yeah, I plotted out to wield words like a weapon, which is going to weave words like stars. I did plot it out. I didn't plot it out. I basically built the world in this book. And so this is to weave words like stars, me planning out the world and everything. To weave words like stars, it basically happens 300 years in the future to present day. And so that world, it takes place 300 years in the future when Earth is connected to two other dimensions, Alfheim and Dusk. Dusk is the planet of the orcs. Alfheim is the planet of the elves. And in the middle between all three worlds is this place called the Consortium. Because after the three worlds were connected, people started showing powers. Humans became wordsmiths, elves became seers, and orcs became berserkers. And so the Consortium kind of gathers these three groups of people together and makes them work for the government. And that is the Consortium, and that's what my main character, Corvina, is currently running from. She doesn't want to go back there. But in the first book, she is forced to go back, and that kind of like spirals out into control. The book is going to come out. If y'all have book sirens, I'm going to put my book on book sirens, so you better request it and read it. I think the hardest part about writing is knowing when to stop, because I tend to stop in the middle when I have ideas, so that way the ideas can percolate in my head, and then I have more to write about in the next session. And so I'm really excited to start this camp because I really want to get at least 50,000 words in this month, so that way I can finish up writing the manuscript in August. It takes me about 2 months to write a book. I write about 1 to 2,000 words a day. It's very hard. I am a full-time teacher and a full-time master's student at the same time, alongside my author business and all that. And so that's just something that I am juggling while I'm doing all this work and all this is going on. And so I'm really, really trying to make sure that I do not overexert myself. It's currently summer, so I have nothing but time. But I think I'm trying to get all my writing in right now, so that way when I go back to school, I don't feel like I've done nothing. And that's just something that I'm going to have to sit with, is that sometimes you won't be able to write every day, but it feels horrible when I don't write. Right now, I'm not currently writing since I just finished a manuscript, and I do not want to overextend myself. If I keep writing after I finish a manuscript, things get messy, things overlap, and so I have to give myself a couple days to breathe. But I don't want to let go of this feeling, of this inspiration. When the muse strikes, the muse strikes. And I'm just really, really glad that I'm able to do this full time. And yeah. So, well, I don't do this full time. I really don't. I'm a full-time teacher, but I'm trying to become a full-time author through my self-published works. And so I just recently published my third book named Victor. It's third in a series. And I have to go into editing hell for book 4, which is Victim, which is the fourth in the series. And then I have to start writing book 5, which is... That's going to be a doozy to wrap that all up. But, yeah, that's going to be super fun. But I do want to make this story something like the conclusion of that story. I want to make it big and flashy. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but the ending that I have in mind, it's always the ending. I always have the ending first and never the beginning. I always struggle with how to start a story. I always have the ending, like, I always get the idea of this is how the story's going to end, and never the beginning. I feel like this current book, To Weave Words Like Stars, is the first book in which I've known how the beginning is. Now, To Weave Words Like Stars, do I know how the ending is? Not in the slightest. But it is going to be very good. To Weave Words Like Stars is like Everything Everywhere All at Once meets Outlander and Howl's Moving Castle. That's how I would market it. Or to Daughter of Smoke and Bone. I really, really do think that this story has so much potential, and I'm working on getting everything ready to publish it. So yeah, so that's just, this is camp pre-work. This is camp pre-work. So yeah. So it is still Sunday. It is around 2:45 p.m. and I just got done with some of the pre-work for my story. There is this like doomsday cult that I'm trying to like build and create, and it's a little difficult to build a cult because, one, I've never been in a cult, and two, I don't know how cults work. So I've been like watching videos and kind of like examining stories from former cult members in order to like make this cult more believable. And it's a lot of work to put in, but I really do believe in this story and I believe in the direction that it's taking. I think that the hardest part about being a self-published author, though, is like you have to like find your own group of people to bounce ideas off of. Like, for example, like if I was a traditionally published author, I would have my agent, my editor, other authors that I publish with, whereas I do not have that right now, and it is kind of difficult, but hopefully it all comes out okay. The person that I usually bounce ideas off of is my brother. He's like my biggest supporter, and I'm always bouncing ideas off of him. So that's something that I can do. But Let me read you a little bit of what I have written. So, the name of the cult is either the Silver Bloods or the Blood of the Darkness. I do not know which one I'm going to end up choosing. But basically, this doomsday cult wants to return the world to its natural state of being, which they believe is darkness. They believe darkness is the natural state of the world. And that's something that I have to like grapple with and like kind of try to understand, like, what do they mean by darkness is the natural state of the world? So you see the kind of like thought process that I have to go through. And I have to kind of like see like, why would this cult appeal to people and make them join? And so that's like one of the biggest things that I'm struggling with right now. What does a cult called the Silver Bloods or the Blood of the Darkness, how does that appeal to other people? How does that make them like want to join the cult? And that's just something that I'm thinking about as I'm writing it, and I'm just working on that cult, so that way I can hopefully get straight into writing after I'm done. And so now I am waiting on some more ideas to like, I know like the longer that I let it like sit in my head, the more sense it'll make, but I have to like come up with like the central tenets for the cult and all that kind of stuff. And so I know just by letting it sit in the back of my head for a little bit, that's where most of my ideas come from. And so that will really help. I think this is all the work that I'm going to be doing for today. So day 1 of camp pre-work is done. Hopefully I get some more ideas as time goes on this week. But I'm going to be videotaping every single day to make sure that I stay consistent and that I actually end up writing more than just this. But yeah, day 1 in the bag. It is 7 in the morning. I'm thinking I'm gonna do my master's homework and then get to editing and then probably do some planning. But first, a nap. So I just got finished editing my 4th book for the day. I am very much knee deep in editing hell. It is Monday, so I decided that I'm going to take a break and work on my camp project. I'm going to be working on character profiles for the main love interest and a character that we were just introduced to towards the end of my book. So that's going to be what I'm going to be working on for the next hour or so. So yeah, hopefully that helps with kind of like this creative funk that I'm in right now. So let's get started on finishing that. So what I use to brainstorm my characters is School of Plots character building sheets. They go really in depth. It's a grand total of like 44 pages, but everything that they have written is also really, really good. So this is just what I have to work on today, and that's what I'll be working on. Go to schoolofplot.com and buy her sheets. So I just got done with part of the workbook for one of the characters in the work that I'm going to be doing for camp. I did part of it. I'm feeling kind of tired, so I wanted to get on here and just like kind of sign off. I think I'm going to take a nap. And if I wake up later on tonight, I'll post a video of me writing or something. But yeah, so that's all I did for Monday, and hopefully it's good enough. So it is currently, oh, my hair looks crazy. It is currently 6 in the morning. It is Tuesday morning. I am up. I am awake. I didn't do much yesterday because I felt like so tired and sleepy, but it is 6 a.m. I got my coffee. My iPad is fully charged and my desktop computer is booted up. So I am ready and willing to get to work. My brain is kind of laggy, so we're gonna go edit today, and then we're gonna try and finish up the character profile that I have been writing for one of my characters today. And yeah. I'm back. I have done exactly 4 chapters. It is 7:20 in the morning. This is taking me longer than I expected. It takes me about 5 minutes to edit each chapter. But oh my gosh, I have to get to chapter 34. My goal is to get to chapter 34 before noon and then spend noon to 3 working on the character worksheet. So hopefully I can get this done before then. But yeah, let's keep going. All right, today is Tuesday. It is about to be 7:30. I have gotten a lot done. I did a lot of editing. I edited all morning, and then I worked on some character things. I wasn't able to finish filling out my character things. I kind of ran out of steam towards the end of the day. But it was a pretty successful day. I'm pretty happy with everything that I achieved. I think that tomorrow will be my last day working on the project, on the character sheet. And then I'll probably be working on a beat sheet or brainstorming ideas of what could happen. I don't know, I've never done that before, but the story just feels like it needs it. And yeah, so Tiffany's signing off on a Tuesday. So it is Wednesday, and I'm just not feeling like doing anything today. I'm not feeling like motivated to like hop on my computer and hammer out the last part of the character worksheet. So today's an off day. Today I'm taking a break. And, not working on something every single day doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you lazy. You're just having an off day. So it's Wednesday. I'm taking a break. And that's the end of it. Yeah. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. It is a Thursday afternoon. I am sitting in my room with my laptop, about to get some editing done. And then we are going to work on character sheets. So let's just dive right into that. It is Friday. It is, I think it's around 9 o'clock. And I finished editing my book. I finished with the character worksheet. So thank God for the School of Plot for that worksheet. And yeah, it's done. Nano prep is done, which means that this vlog is over with. But I do want to share some reflections that I've had. First reflection that I have is that building characters is kind of like building worlds. You have to know the ins and outs. You have to know what makes them tick, what sets them off, what gets them angry, what makes them sad. And one thing that has really helped me is the emotional wound thesaurus, which really has helped with like building their characters and that emotional wound that is still hurting them and harming them. Meanwhile, it gave, like, this character building session allowed me to dive deep into the character and what they want from the world, why they maneuver the way that they do, and how they're going to interact with my main character once the story starts. So that is something that I'm very grateful for, that I'm very happy with. And yeah, it was a lot of fun this time around. And so now I'm done building and I'm ready to get started for camp next week. First reflection that I have is that building characters is kind of like building worlds. You have to know the ins and outs. You have to know what makes them tick, what sets them off, what gets them angry, what makes them sad. And one thing that has really helped me is the emotional wound thesaurus, which really has helped with like building their characters and that emotional wound that is still hurting them and harming them. Meanwhile, it gave, like, this character building session allowed me to dive deep into the character and what they want from the world, why they maneuver the way that they do and how they're going to interact with my main character once the story starts. So that is something that I'm very grateful for, that I'm very happy with. And yeah, it was just, it was a lot of fun this time around. And so now I'm done building and I'm ready to get started for camp next week.